What is up, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you want to bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show. It's a special Sunday edition as we have Breeders' Cup. Oh, my goodness. Off to a terrible start already. Kentucky Derby coverage all week long on the channel. So we got to get the Dudes show out of the way early this week. Papa Dude, how we doing?
Doing great. Kind of an unusual time for us. And it may just be you and me today. I hope we have some people in the chat, but it may not be a difficult time on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, if you're not joining us today and you're listening to us on delay or the recorded version, I don't blame you. Yeah, it is a Sunday afternoon. A lot of people probably doing something. We got a couple filtering in here, so we had to do an NHL show because we've been following it, of course, all year long, and the playoffs are going to start tomorrow, and we've talked about it for 4 or 5 weeks. Well, really a couple months now. So it's like, all right, we got to do a playoff show. Monday is not going to work. So we will do today. Are you ready for the NHL talk? See, we've got a few people here.
You do. And I know Cindy's a hockey person. So
yeah,
good. Cindy can probably straighten us out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a great playoff, as always. It always is. And this year isn't going to be any different.
Right.
It's fantastic.
And before we get out of here, we want to make sure we cover the NBA just a little bit, too. So don't forget.
Yeah, we'll talk about the NBA after the playoff talk for sure. Because we got a game going on. Well, I guess one is just finished, and then another one's getting ready to start, or it maybe is going on at this time right now.
Yeah, it is 15-12 Grizzlies.
Okay. And the Timberwolves were able to win game one in Boston today.
No, not the Timberwolves, the Bucks.
That's what I meant. The Bucks. See, I'm out. I'm out of basketball mode.
Here's the deal with Aaron, folks. He's horse crazy right now, and maybe more crazy than he is horse because he's had to deal with this nonstop. Hopefully he's prepared a little bit for the hockey.
All right, so we'll get into the hockey. I've got the playoff bracket up right now as Oaklawn's fifth race runs, and it looks like Ari Oakley's finally going to win. If she loses this one, I don't know what to say, but turn for home with a 5-link lead. All right, we're going to start in the East because we'll save the West for last since that's where our team is at. We're going to start in the East. It's been a battle to kind of see who wasn't going to have to play Florida in the first round. That unlucky team that will draw Florida in the first round ended up being the Washington Capitals. Why is that? Because they lost 4 games in a row to end the regular season. It was not great. All right, Florida and Washington. Do the Capitals have any shot here to pull an upset?
Hang on here. I'm getting this pulled up. All right. So your question was, do the Capitals have any shot?
Mm-hmm.
Any team that has Alex Ovechkin has a shot. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, for sure.
They do have a chance. They should have kept from being in this round. All they had to do is win a couple of games, and they couldn't do it. They lost twice to the Islanders on back-to-back nights. The Islanders aren't bad, but they should have won one of them. And then in a game that didn't mean anything to the Rangers, they lost it also. So they have nobody to kick but themselves. They're playing maybe the best team in the league. Well, what do you think about that statement?
Well, I mean, they won the President's Trophy. So, right. As far as regular season, they have been the best. Of course, Florida, it's been a long time since they've had any playoff success. They're most of years, they are not very good. They were very good the last couple. This year, like I said, the President's Trophy goes to Florida. They're certainly not a proven playoff team with proven playoff players, but they enter as probably the second choice to win the whole thing, and definitely the top choice in the East.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're looking at Colorado as the top choice, I think. And Florida ended up scoring or getting more points than they did. So they have a legitimate claim at being the top two, but I think we're looking at the fact they haven't ever done anything in the playoffs. I know I wrote that in the article I just completed. That is a factor going into this. They have scored more goals than anybody by a long shot. They've scored 25 more goals than anyone else. But their goaltending isn't bad either. So they are a powerhouse. They have been consistent. They lost to the Canadians 10-2 on Friday night, which is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
There's no telling who they played, who they sent out there. But anyway, Washington is up and down, inconsistent. I don't give them a chance, except for the fact sometimes crazy things happen, and Ovechkin's pretty good. And sometimes he gets a team to play better than what they are. Sydney said 5. I do too. I'm going Florida in 5.
We're going to all three go Florida in 5. When she wrote that, I thought, well, that's what I have wrote down here as well. Too much firepower. Goaltending for Washington is shaky as well a little bit. That's not good when you're going up against the Florida Panthers, who, just like you said, just scored in bunches. They're an exciting team. I can't imagine them losing this series. Maybe the inexperience forces it to a 6th game. Maybe they get scared. It gets a little scary early. But the longer the series goes, the more Florida should be able to flex the muscle here. So yeah, Florida in 5 all around. All three of us here, if you count Sydney, going to say Florida in 5. So we'll move on to the next one. I think this one obviously is a lot more competitive. The Maple Leafs looking to get out of the first round. Upset last year when they should have gotten out of there. There's been other times they should have gotten out of the first round. Boy, when you're looking to end a streak, you don't want to run into the 2-time defending champions, but that's what the Maple Leafs will have to tackle. They'll have home advantage because they had 5 more points than them in the regular season. Toronto and Tampa, this is going to be extremely interesting. Papa Dude, what are your initial thoughts on this series?
I believe of the 8, this is the best one. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of one? I mean, the Blues Wild one, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think these two teams are a little more maybe exciting. I don't know. I just think this series has more glamour to it than the Blues Wild. And I think if you're a big time hockey fan, this is one you're looking forward to. Two very, very good teams. And you hit the nail on the head. This is one team Toronto does not want to play. They have so much pressure on them anyway. And Cindy can fill us in a little bit more about Canadian media. Mm-hmm. Because we don't know what it's like. We know what it's like here, and it's awful. And I would say, as far as hockey goes, the Toronto Maple Leafs have a tremendous amount of pressure on them going into this, and they don't need that when you're playing Tampa. Tampa is just a really good, solid team. Now, if you like the law of averages and you play the law of averages says Tampa's not going to win the Stanley Cup this year. They're just not. It doesn't happen very often where they would win it 3 years in a row. But this doesn't mean they're going to go out in this series. This one is a toss-up all the way. I love Toronto. I think they are an excellent hockey team. But how do you bet against an experienced defending champion that has so much heart, maybe still have the best goalie in the league, know how to win? How do you bet against them? So in the article I wrote, I am not betting this. I can't give you an answer. So why even try? I'm not even going to say what I think. It's a flip of the coin series, and whichever flips, how you take it. Don't you feel pretty much the same way?
Yeah, I think it's going to go 6 or 7 for sure. I wrote down Tampa in 7. I think they'll be able to beat them. I just think the goalie situation for Tampa is a little bit more stable, and I think the experience of winning in the playoffs is going to matter. Uh, I think the Leafs would beat most of the other teams in the first round,
Oh, I do too.
but I don't think they're going to beat Tampa. I just don't. There's too much. There's just too much experience. To the goalies, too experienced and too playoff ready. I put Tampa on top here in 7, and it sets up. If that happens, the Florida Tampa Bay series is going to be
Oh my God.
absolutely ridiculous. And really, Florida Toronto will be ridiculous too. These three
It is.
teams are so explosive.
Yeah.
It's just going to be incredible. But I think Tampa beats them.
Well, and the thing is, if they do, it's not a bad thing for Toronto to lose to the defending champion. This is a great hockey team. Now, they didn't have a great regular season for them, but that doesn't mean a damn thing when these playoffs start.
No. And listen, you say they didn't have a great regular season for them. They have 110 points.
Oh, I know.
I mean, this is a good team.
Oh, it's a great team.
They're separated by 5 points. I don't think home ice is going to make much of a difference in this series for Tampa, a very experienced team. They finished the season 7-3. I mean,
yeah. And Dennis has a good point, and I do this with hockey anyway. Just bet the morning or the money line.
Yep.
What you bet.
Yep.
I don't know if that's what he meant or not. But
he said, think a good idea is Toronto Tampa series, barring injury, maybe just take the plus on the morning line. Yeah.
Yeah. I just bet the money line on hockey, unless it's astronomically high when, like a team is heavily favored. But these games are going to be minus 110, minus 120.
Yeah.
Bet the money line. You'll make money if you get it right. So, yeah, I can't wait for this series. This is going to be so fun to watch. And I have to admit, Tampa Bay is my second favorite team. Once the Blues get eliminated, I root for the Lightning.
So the Leafs, Cindy says the Leafs are going to win this thing in 6. I have them in 7, so we're on the same page there again. She predicts all hell breaks loose if Toronto goes out in the first round, new management and trades coming. I probably would agree.
Yeah, but how can you – they had, 115 points in the regular season?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think you can do that. I mean, somebody's got to lose this series.
Yeah.
And they're not that much better than Tampa Bay. And they may not be better at all. And they've had a hell of a season. And there's probably 25 to 30 teams that would trade places with them. But you look at these teams. Let's just go through them. Who in the hell would be favored against Tampa Bay? I mean, would be a solid favorite.
Nobody. The Avalanche would be favored if you go to the Western Conference.
Yeah, but would you be totally confident in them winning?
Well, no.
But and would you be confident in Florida beating them? No. So this is not a bad loss if they don't win this series.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge Blues fan, and I'm not going to go crazy if they don't beat Minnesota.
No. Because
Minnesota's damn good.
Yeah.
So I just think that's unfair to the Maple Leafs. Now, through the years, I can't remember who was it they blew it against last year. Now, that is a different story.
Yeah, I mean, they've blown 2 or 3 that it's just like you had this. Like you had this one. How did you?
They've had 3-1 leads.
Yes. Yeah. So you've got the best player in hockey up there in Matthews. I mean,
and I understand the frustration in Toronto, Cindy. I understand that. But this year is different. So 55 years ago, tomorrow was a big, big night in Toronto. I'm guessing that's the last time they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that would be my guess. I have no idea, but that would be my guess. Yeah. Let's see. Dennis looks at a different way. He says Tampa has the pressure, back-to-back chance, not having a good seed. As a fan of a team that's won it, the pressure to repeat isn't really there. I can't even imagine what the pressure to get 3. I mean, I don't think they have any pressure, and that's what makes them dangerous. They're going on the road they've already won this thing twice in a row. I don't think they have any. I think they play free and loose.
Yeah,
Yes, but
and I've got to think in Florida, that's not that. I mean, it is if you're a true hockey fan. There's your base in Florida that's crazy about the Lightning, but that's the only people that are.
look
And
at it like this from a football standpoint. The Toronto Maple Leafs are the Dallas Cowboys. They
yes,
live in a bubble.
yes.
Tampa Bay Lightning, now, of course, winning helps, right? Like that's like I'm sure there's many new jerseys that have been sold the last 2 years. Still got the
Oh, yeah,
tags on them.
yeah.
Normally, they're kind of like the Arizona Cardinals of the NFL.
Cincinnati Bengals, let's say, because the Cardinals suck.
Well, no, but I mean that's the Lightning for many years weren't very good, and
Oh, no.
nobody really cared. They're not. They don't have a fan base that's gonna want to, fire everybody around.
No,
That's
no.
just not going to happen.
No.
Not going to happen. All right, let's go on to the other side of
Okay.
the East here. The Carolina Hurricanes finished the season 8-2, won 6 in a row. So they get 116 points, man. They are just a team I personally just forget about sometimes. It's like,
I do
damn.
too. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, but they are just quietly a very, very good team year in and year out. Gosh, kind of unlucky for them. They have to take on the Boston Bruins in the first round, and they finished the year pretty well, are pretty good as well. 107 points gets you the wild card in the East.
Yes,
That's how good it is. Bruins, Hurricanes. I think this is another classic series. What about you?
it is. And I'm exactly like you. I underestimate Carolina. They play in a small market. They're not flashy. They don't have that flash about them. A great defensive team that you don't hear about much. If you're going to pick a first round upset, because I don't call Tampa Bay defeating Toronto an upset. To me, that's not an upset. That's a pick 'em series. This would be one probably to go with, maybe simply because you're playing a Boston team that's in the playoffs every year. I personally don't think this is a great Boston team.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. But you've still got the tradition. They know how to play in these things. And Carolina struggles a little bit. They have a tendency to get beat when they shouldn't. So that's the factor you play there. I took Carolina in 6 because I just don't think this is a great Boston team.
Dennis is going the upset with Boston. I disagree with Dennis. I went with Carolina in 7, and I felt the same. I would not be surprised if Boston wins for sure.
Absolutely not.
I felt the same. I thought, well, I kind of think this Bruins team, while they're experienced and they're solid, I don't know that they're as good as some of the teams they've had there in the past that have been very good. This is going to be a 6 or 7 game series. I would almost, I would bet the house on it. It's going to be a long series. I'm going to go Carolina in 7. Carolina is a team. They are very tough to beat at home.
They are.
The home advantage could actually matter a little bit. A lot of playoff series, they don't. In this game or this series, it could. I don't think they're going to lose a 7th game if they get it back home. So I'm going to go Carolina in 7. This is going to be a big toss up. Sydney says Carolina in 5. So she's not a big fan of Boston. It sounds like here.
How many points? They had 107 points, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Here we are talking about them like they're not very good. They had 107 points.
Yeah, I know, and that's why a guy like Dennis is sitting there going, "Listen, I think Boston can win this series easy."
Well, they can. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. This is another one. When we talked about this on our previous shows, these Eastern Conference series are going to be fantastic. The last one in the East, the Rangers and the Penguins. This is another really evenly matched teams coming in here. The Rangers. A very good season to get up to the 2 seed there in the Metropolitan. 110 points for the Rangers. Pretty remarkable. But they go up against a pretty good crew here in Pittsburgh. They got 103 points themselves. Another toss-up. I'll just keep repeating myself. What do you think?
Yeah. No, great. There's not much I can add.
Yep.
I do think Toronto or the Rangers are a little bit underrated. I don't think they get the recognition uh, they deserve. They're pretty good. 110 points, great goaltending. They're pretty solid. Pittsburgh's got the stars. They got the big names. Um, they really struggled. And Washington should have beat them, should have knocked them out. They should be the wild card team playing Florida. But they got in there. They didn't play very good down the stretch at all. That's not a good sign going into the series. I'm not real high on them either. I saw them a couple times. I just wasn't real impressed, but at the same time, they still managed, I believe, 103 points in a very, very tough league. They probably would have had 115 over in the West. So another good team's going to go out. In this, I took the Rangers in 6.
Rangers in 6 for you. Cindy says, bring out the broom for the Rangers. That surprises me. She thinks the rain that for non-hockey fans, that means a sweep of the series for the Rangers 4-0. No, I think it's another one that's going to go 7, and I don't think the Rangers lose Game 7 in Madison Square Garden. I picked the Rangers in 7 here. I think it's going to be a battle. I like the Rangers goaltending, but it's not quite as proven as the Pittsburgh goaltending.
Yep.
And you could say that about the Rangers as a team. I think the Rangers are the best team, but man, a lot of unproven players here. Where you look at the Penguins, and obviously a team that's in the playoffs all the time. So, yep, I still think New York wins it in 7 games. I think it'll be a hell of a series. I think what have I picked here? Both these series here on this side of it to go 7.
Oh, so of these 4, the easiest one we would think is Florida and Washington, and the other 3, who the hell knows?
Yep.
Except for Cindy, and I don't usually disagree with Cindy when it comes to hockey for sure, or anything else really. I will be shocked if New York and Pittsburgh's a sweep.
Yeah, I will too.
It may happen, but I just can't see Pittsburgh getting swept in this series.
No, I think no. I just they're one of the least likely ones to get swept in my opinion. Now, if the Capitals get swept, I wouldn't be shocked. Anything else on the East, if it ended in a sweep, I would be very surprised.
I just finished the article. I think I posted it on the East. I don't have the West one posted yet. I ranked them 1 through 8 as 1 being the most likely to win and come out of the East, and 8 being the least. So let's go through that. You want to do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I have Florida number 1.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do?
Well, I haven't looked at it like this. I would probably have Tampa number 1.
Hey, you got Tampa 1?
Yeah.
I got Tampa 2.
Okay.
You guys in the chat, get yours up there too.
I would probably put Carolina number 2.
I have Carolina. You got Carolina 2?
Yep.
Okay. Now, I am excluding matchups that come after the first round. I didn't even take that into consideration. Just right now, not looking at matchups, because some of these teams are going to play each other maybe in the next round. I just rated them power-wise the way I feel.
Yeah.
So I've got Florida 1. I have Tampa 2. You have Tampa 1, Carolina 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm assuming you have Florida 3.
Yeah, I'd put Florida in 3rd. I would probably put Toronto 4th.
And okay, I have Carolina 3rd and Toronto 4th.
Yeah, and then I would probably I mean, like I said, I haven't really thought of it in terms of this, but probably the Rangers would be 5th. Pittsburgh 6, Boston 7, Washington 8 is probably
okay. So we're pretty similar. I have the Rangers 5th, and then I have Boston 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the Penguins very well, so I have them 7, and then I have Washington 8. But anybody could switch these around. I mean, you can switch them around anyway. And obviously, Toronto and Florida can't be 1-4 because one of them's going out.
Yeah.
In at least the second round.
Yeah.
We play each other. So
yeah.
It is really fun to rank them. y'all are making a case for Rangers upset with the power rankings.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're the team. Toronto obviously, but I don't know. I don't know if they count that an upset. But I mean, I picked the Rangers to win in 7. So yeah, I certainly think they could get upset without any doubt.
This is just a tremendous round,
Yeah,
first round bunch of games. But you know what? In hockey, they usually are.
They turn out to be almost every year.
They do.
But this year in the East, a lot of times they turn out to be great series, but before you go into them, you don't know that they will be.
Yeah.
This year in the East, it's like every one of these, it's like, oh, this could be crazy. Like this could, like we're going to talk about Nashville and Colorado. Well, that looks like a 4 or 5 game series.
Yeah.
But it's hockey, and sometimes it'll go 7 and it'll surprise you, right?
Yeah, because in these playoffs, there really won't be I guess you could say if Washington beats Florida, that is a pretty big surprise.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be totally shocked.
It wouldn't be because, the Capitals, while you take out their 1 year where they won the cup, which you can't take that out. But if you do, they're sketchy in the playoffs. They always have been. But Florida, they've just been non-existent for a long time. Now, obviously, the recent years they've gotten there, but it wouldn't be a monumental upset, in my opinion.
No.
See them get beat. If you want to go to the West now, because it's a good segue, is if Nashville beats Colorado, I consider it a huge upset.
That's a huge upset.
I've got Colorado. To me, this one is the easiest one.
Right.
I think Colorado will sweep them. I think they'll beat them in 4.
I went ahead and put them. I can't remember whether I put them as a sweep or I put them in 5. I think I put them a sweep also. Yeah. I can't. Of course, crazy things happen. Do you put any credence to the fact that Colorado lost 5 of their final 6?
No.
Okay. I do a little bit because even though they probably were cruising, there's no probably about it. Sometimes when you do that, you lose a little bit of an edge. And I can see that maybe bothering them some. But at the same time, Nashville's not playing very well. I've seen Nashville look terrible. I don't think Nashville's got the goaltending that they've had in the past.
Nope.
When they had the really good goalies. They're kind of a tenacious bunch. They might steal one at home. It's possible. But I will be shocked if they beat Colorado on the road.
Yeah, I can't see it from Nashville. I've watched them a lot. I mean, listen, they're in the playoffs. They're obviously not a bad team.
Oh, absolutely.
In terms of, to me, they're the worst team in the playoffs, right? If you had to rank them 1 through 16, they would be last.
Between them and Dallas, yeah.
Dallas, I've watched a little bit of. I think they're better than.
They're a little more solid.
Yeah, I don't like this Nashville team. I think Colorado wins this in 4 and rests up for the second round, which is going to be needed because, like you said, the Blues and the Wild, it might be the best series of the year, or of the first round, I should say. Both these teams finished right there together. Minnesota does get the home advantage with 113 points. The Blues finished with 109. As far as teams that are hot, save the last 2 games where the Blues didn't play very well, didn't have a lot to play for. They got points in like 16 straight games. This Minnesota team never loses, it feels like.
Yeah. I looked it up. Minnesota got point. You pointed this out just a minute ago, and you also pointed it out last week. They got points, which means they either won or tied 22 of their last 24 games. And those of you that follow hockey knows
it's incredible.
That's almost impossible.
Yep.
The Blues, if you throw out the last 2 games, they got points in 19 of their final 22 games. These teams were winning or tying every night down the stretch. So they are identical. The Blues scored 312 goals in the regular season. Minnesota scored 303. There's hardly anything to choose between them. They both have 3 lines, maybe 4 that you can throw out there, and they're going to be effective, which you got to have in the playoffs. You have to.
Yep.
I can't. The only issue, and they may be staying this in Minnesota too, because I don't keep up with them as much. Obviously, is goaltending, and
Yep.
I don't. Minnesota may be saying the same thing we are. Is their goaltending going to hold up? Because right now, as we mentioned on Thursday's show, and I don't know whether you've heard anything about who the Blues are even going to start tomorrow night. Have they made a decision yet? Have you heard anything? I know you've been wrapped up with the horses, and I haven't really went on the Blues website or anything. I haven't seen anything.
So the Blues, it sounds like the Blues will start Husso for game 1, and then Cam Talbot is going to start for the Wild.
Well, yeah.
So, so you have 2, Stanley Cup winning goalies will be the backups in this game or in this series with Binnington for the Blues and Marc-Andre Fleury for Minnesota. So that's a crazy kind of, storyline coming into this.
You know what the Fleury thing reminds me of, Aaron? It's when about 6 years ago, maybe 7, time goes by so fast, when the Blues acquired Ryan Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yep.
I don't know whether Minnesota looked at it the same way as the Blues did. The Blues were struggling at goalie, and Ryan Miller was still playing well. Was he with Vancouver at the time?
No, I think he was still with Buffalo, and then he went to Vancouver after.
Okay. I thought it was the other way. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He was still effective. And remember the excitement that the Blues fans, including you and I, we both said, wow, they have acquired the player that's going to put them over the top.
Yep.
And he was out of there at the end of the season.
Well, he wasn't very good. They got beat in the first round. And from the moment they got him all the way through the playoffs, he didn't play very well.
Wasn't very good. And he was on the downhill slide of an incredible career.
Yep.
Is that the same with Fleury? It sure looks like it. He's on the downhill slide of an incredible career. Now, he was in Pittsburgh, and then he went to Vegas, and then he was with the Blackhawks, right, when Minnesota got him. He may be done.
Yeah, he's 37 years old.
And Miller was like 36.
Yeah, he was 35, 36, I believe. Yeah, when the Blues got him.
I think we can really use that comparison a lot in these two guys. I think Minnesota got him because they thought he could help them down the stretch. I don't know if they got him as a first-team goalie. I just don't know. I'm not that familiar with Minnesota. I got to admit, I follow the Blues, and that's about it. I don't know whether they got him for that or just insurance to help Talbot get down the stretch of the playoffs. But, yeah, that's very interesting. I hadn't thought of that. You've got Stanley Cup winning goalies that are probably going to start on the bench.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're saying at least right now going into the series. So, listen to me. Dennis says Wild are going to win this thing in 7. City thinks it's the hardest series to figure out. Going 7 overtime and pick your team.
Yeah,
Dennis believes whoever wins this series will be in the finals. It's that kind of series.
It is.
There's no doubt a really, really good team is going to get beat.
Mm-hmm.
It's all going to come down to who gets the goaltending. That's all it is.
I can't pick the Blues because of that.
Mm-hmm.
They did own the Wild in the regular season, but the games were nip and tuck.
Yep.
They were tight games. I don't really hold a lot to that either, because the games were so tight. They didn't blow them out. I'm afraid. I'm just afraid. I don't think the home ice means a damn thing. Mm-mm. Now, I will say this about the Blues. They are much better at home this year than they've been in the past. They've not been a very good home team, so they are better at home. Here's the problem. They played their last 2 games. They played Binnington in Colorado, which to me was a sign We're giving you a chance, bud. You play well, you're going to start game 1 in the playoffs. I can't see it any other way. I don't know why they would have played him in that game. He didn't play well. But then they came back Friday in a game that really didn't mean anything, but it kind of did. Had they won, they would have finished second if Minnesota lost, which they didn't. But anyway, they played Husso, and he wasn't very good. They weren't either, but he wasn't very good. So you got two guys who in their last game were very, very shaky. That's not a good sign.
No, it's not. I'm going to lean the Blues because of their head-to-head record against Minnesota. I think
They
that's
better
the key.
win one of the first two. Let's put it that way.
Well, I think you could say that for any team that starts on the road.
That's true.
I think the Blues were going to win this game, win this series in 7. I really don't think going on the road bothers them at all.
It does not. No.
I think they're going to win it. I do. Their head-to-head against Minnesota is good enough to lead St. Louis.
That will give them confidence too.
If you had a crystal ball and it said goalie X is going to play well in the series, that's the winner.
That's true.
We don't have that. I don't trust Cam Talbot at all.
No.
I don't. With Husso, it's not. I don't think he's going to be awful, but I don't know how good he is. It's hard to trust Binnington if he has to play.
It is.
I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury, I thought that's a great pickup for them. I've watched him a few times. He just hasn't looked great.
Nope.
It's the goalie that steps up
will
win the series. And if neither of them step up, it's going to be what people are describing, a 7-game series. It's just back and forth.
Be 6-5 exciting games.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go Blues in 7.
And the other thing is, too, these are two teams that are completely different than what they usually are. They're usually tight checking defensive teams, and they're not that. I mean, Minnesota's not very good on the back line either. So it's going to be fun. Normally, though, when you got two high-scoring teams going at each other, the games aren't as high-scoring as you think they're going to be.
Yeah, they all go into it, and they try to play tight.
Yep.
All right.
Tomorrow night, it's going to be fun.
Yep, for sure. So who are you? You're picking Minnesota. I'm going to go with the Blues. Let's go to the other side here. Calgary will take on the other wild card team, the Dallas Stars. I think it'll be competitive. I think Calgary is a very tough building to win in as well. Would hate to have to go up there to try to win a game. I think end of the day, Calgary wins this thing, but I think it's about a 6-game series. I don't see this as a big as mismatch as Colorado and Nashville.
Yeah, and if Cindy's still listening, Cindy, this is I've always wondered this about Canada hockey. It seems like they care about Montreal and Toronto, and they get all the pressure. And the Canadian teams in the western part of Canada, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, they don't care about as much. Is that true? I mean, that's the perspective I see of it. Because, in other words, if Dallas goes in there and knocks off Calgary, is that going to be a big deal in Canada? Like if Tampa Bay knocks off Toronto? Because I don't think it will be.
I mean, my guess is that would be a big deal, but not. I think Toronto's kind of like New York here, right?
Yeah,
in a bubble. Yeah,
okay.
Same thing. Eastern press.
Yeah, and I think another thing too, and correct me, Cindy, if I'm wrong. Toronto and Montreal are the old school teams that have been there forever, and these other teams are not.
Yeah.
So back to Calgary. Now I could see an upset in this series. I really could. I don't think Dallas is good enough to do it, but I'm not completely sold on Calgary. I'm not. Now, they are very good defensively, and they play hard. And you're right, they're hard to beat in that building. But I could see Dallas going in there and stealing game 1. I really could. They're that kind of team. They didn't play great down the stretch, but they played good enough. And they got in there and got that. They were trailing Nashville going into the final week of the season for that wild card spot to avoid Colorado. And on the last game of the year, they got it. So you got to give Dallas some credit. I think this goes 6. I think it's a much tougher series than most people think it's going to be.
Yeah, Dallas they're a gritty. They're a gritty
Yeah.
bunch. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And they're not quite as explosive as they have been, but they still can score on you. Their problem in the playoffs has not been winning on the road. It's been winning at home.
That's right.
They struggle in that home building. They got like the Blues and them will go 7 games and none of them will ever win at home. It seems like when they play. So they got to try to figure that out. I agree. I bet the series goes to Dallas 1-1. But
I think it will. I think it's going to be a good series. I think Calgary wins because I think they're better.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a great Dallas team. There's been some really that Dallas team the Blues beat when they won the Stanley Cup. That was a pretty good team.
Yes, that was a very good team. Yeah, I agree. Calgary in 5. We said 6. In the end, I think they're going to be. It's a little too tough. Sutter has him primed. Yeah, he's a pretty good coach when it comes to the playoffs, and he's done it at Calgary before. So, with a team that didn't come into the playoffs quite as good as this one.
Right.
All right, final one in the West: the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. I think this is a wide open affair here. You get the flash of the Edmonton Oilers. You get the Kings. It's kind of like, really, the Kings are back in it. You know, if you haven't been paying attention, it's kind of like that. But
they're the sleeper team.
Yeah.
And there for a while they were in danger of being caught by Vegas for that 3rd spot in the Pacific. And even Vancouver was taking a shot at them too. And they responded. They won 5 of their last 6 games and put them away like a good team does.
Mm-hmm.
So I give them a chance also. I like Edmonton better than you do. They played great after they made a coaching change back in January. They really came on.
Yeah.
They got good players. I didn't realize that one guy's got 55 goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know how to pronounce his name. How do you pronounce it? Do you know? Is it Dreisaitl or?
That's how I would say it. Or that's how I've been saying it.
Yeah, 55 goals. McDavid has 44. So between them, they have 99 goals. McDavid gets all the press, as far as I'm concerned. And again, these are 2 teams we don't hear a lot about because they play late. And the results of those games don't come in till the next morning, unless you stay up real late. I think this is going to be a great series. I think Edmonton's going to win it, and I'm going to go 6 or 7.
I really want to pick an upset here, but I don't think the Kings are good enough. It's going to take like the Jonathan Quick of yesteryear, right? Yeah. Because of the Kings, I don't think can score with Edmonton, but if Quick can shut them down, maybe, but that's been a long time ago since he's had those miraculous playoff games.
Yep.
I'll go Edmonton reluctantly. I'm not confident in Edmonton. I don't love them.
No, I know you don't.
But as Sydney says, how cool would it be? Calgary and Edmonton. What a series.
Well, that'll go back to the Gretzky days when, which is way before your time, Aaron, when Edmonton and Calgary went at it every year. And I'm telling you, those games were fantastic. And this would be something to watch too. So, and it looks like it has a good chance of happening. So, yeah, that would be fun to watch. Of course, at 8:30 at night, we'll, same thing.
It would definitely be cool to see that happen. So,
I know.
All right, I know you haven't went further, so we'll quickly just pick all the way to the finals here.
Oh boy.
Let's see. I had Florida and Tampa. I think Tampa beats them. Did you have Florida and Tampa?
No, hold on. Let's rank our 8 teams in the West here.
Okay, Colorado 1, St. Louis 2.
I have to admit, I have not done these.
Colorado 1, St. Louis 2, Minnesota 3, Calgary 4, Edmonton 5, LA 6, Dallas 7, Nashville 8.
I'm pretty much absolutely the same, only I would flip Minnesota and the Blues around. Yeah. But you can do that any old way you want. I mean, that's one I could see the Blues being 2 also. Yeah. Now, the problem is Minnesota or the Blues have to play Colorado next.
Of course.
And so they can't be 2 and 3. You know
No.
what I mean? Because one of
Yeah.
them's going out. But we're not ranking it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to what you were gonna do. So, okay, we're going to the East here. We got Florida coming. Both of us picked Florida over the Capitals, right?
Yep.
And I didn't pick it, and you did. You picked Tampa. So we'll go either one, Toronto or Tampa, because it's one and the same as far as I'm concerned. Against Florida,
Mm-hmm.
okay. If it's Tampa, I definitely would pick them.
Yeah.
Now, Toronto, well, if they get out of that first round, won't they play a lot better?
Yeah, I think Toronto wins the first round. They might win the second.
I do too, but I'm going to stick with Florida.
All right, I'm going to go Tampa. So you got Florida, I got Tampa. Then on the other side, we both picked Carolina, and we both picked the Rangers.
Okay, Carolina against the Rangers. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Flip a coin. For me, it's just flip a coin. Okay, I'm just going to go with the team I probably would root for. And that would be Carolina.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can pick that one.
I think Carolina had an easier time beating the Rangers than they will Boston.
You may be right.
I think it's Carolina all the way in that. If they get past the first round, I think they're getting past the second round. So I've got Carolina and Tampa. You've got Carolina and Florida.
Okay. Well, if it's Carolina and Florida, I'm going to go with Florida. You'll probably go with Tampa.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tampa. So you've got Florida going to the finals. I've got Tampa. So we both believe it's coming out of those two there.
Well, I'll tell you, if Florida has to play Tampa in that second round, I might have to go back on that.
I know. It's going to be incredible if that happens.
Yeah.
So all right, we both got the teams from Florida in one final. Okay, the other we've got Colorado. You've got Colorado, Minnesota.
Colorado.
I've got Colorado, St. Louis. St. Louis matches up worthless with Colorado, so I'm going to go Colorado. And then we both have Calgary, Edmonton.
Wow.
Yeah.
That will be a tremendous series. I think Calgary wins.
Gosh, I do. I think Calgary wins that one as well. And it sets up what I think will be a 7-game bloodbath between the Avalanche and the Calgary Flames. Who are you going with if it gets down to that?
Well, I hate to do this because it's so boring. I'm picking 2 number ones. I hate doing that. It's not going to happen probably.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go Colorado. I just don't think Calgary can beat them.
I think Calgary will beat them.
There we go. There he is. He's going out on the limb.
There's my upset.
You're not the only one. Cindy's got Calgary.
Oh, I didn't even see this. Sydney's matchup is Calgary and the Rangers. So that explains why you like the Rangers to sweep.
He loves the Rangers. Yeah.
You really like the Rangers. Calgary has the better goalie. I really like Jacob Markstrom. The key, you have to shut them down offensively. You have to hold them down. If you can do that and you can get physical, you can beat them.
Florida.
Talking about Calgary beating Colorado.
Oh, Calgary beat Colorado. Okay.
I think they can do it. I don't think the Blues can. The Blues have proven they can't hold them.
No, they can't keep them from scoring.
I think Calgary's got a good enough goalie. They got a good enough defense. They can score enough. I think Calgary upsets Colorado. I think it's Calgary and Tampa in the finals. You think it's Colorado and Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your Stanley Cup champion?
If it's Colorado and Florida, I'm going Florida.
You're going to go Florida.
Yeah, because I don't like Colorado.
Okay. I'm with Sydney. I think the Stanley Cup is coming back to Canada. I think Calgary defeats Tampa and wins the Stanley Cup. I'm going to go with the Calgary Flames to do it. My second pick would be Colorado. I think if they get there, they'll beat Tampa. I would rank my top 3 contenders would be Calgary, Colorado, and Tampa Bay.
Okay, so this is really interesting, though, how we've done this. And again, this is impossible to do. You know, it's like picking a daggum March Madness.
Yeah.
We're picking all this, and there's so much crap can happen.
Yeah.
So you like Colorado and Calgary 1-2, right?
Yep.
But the East is so much better than the West. Isn't that funny? How
Yep.
now I could see this happening in the East too. These two teams, whoever comes out of the East might have to play 3 straight 7-game series
Yep.
to get there. And the West, whoever comes out of there might have it a little easier. It's possible. That's possible.
Yep.
I don't know that means a whole lot, but there's just so much that can happen. Colorado has been the best team all year, in my opinion.
Colorado
And
is the safest pick to win it.
they are, and they had they were the overall leader.
Yeah.
Until the last couple of weeks.
Colorado is almost a cinch to get out of the first round. So you're not going to lose your team in the first round.
Right.
And
Florida's almost.
If they match up against the Blues, they're going to get to the final. I mean, the Blues just can't beat them.
They cannot beat them. That is a given.
Minnesota might, but I don't think they will. And then it just so I think they do. They're the smartest team to pick, or the most logical team to pick. But I think they're going to get upset by the Flames. Now, the thing about picking the Flames, they could lose the first round.
They could. I don't think they will, but I think Edmonton will give them all they want.
I think they'll beat the shit out of Edmonton.
Okay. You don't like Edmonton.
I don't. I think Calgary style of play will dominate Edmonton. I am more scared of Dallas than I am of Edmonton.
Okay.
So, but I mean, listen, the playoffs, 1 seeds get beat all the time. So
well, they do. And hockey is so hard.
And remember something. Remember this. Tampa Bay's won 2 in a row, right? The year before, they were the number 1 seed, and they got swept in the first round.
That's right, by Columbus.
By the Columbus Blue Jackets.
That's
so
right.
A team can look really, really good, and then that can happen.
Well, and in that year, they had a record number of regular season points. If I'm not,
yes,
yeah, I'm almost sure that set the all-time record, didn't they?
Yep,
126 or something like that.
They had a tremendous amount. I don't know if it was a record or not. I can't remember that far back, but they went into that playoff as the heavy favorite to win the whole thing, and they didn't win a game.
Didn't win a game. Got shut. Yeah, got beat by Columbus.
Yes, by a team that, I don't know if they had to have been the lowest seed.
Yeah, they were decent.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying about. That's what makes this so fun.
It's crazy.
A team like Colorado, a team like Florida, they may go 7 games in this first round, and you may be thinking, "Oh my gosh, no, don't think that." No. Win. That's it. That's all that matters. Whether you win 7 or in 4, you just have to get
matter.
By. Yeah,
that's the thing about hockey.
Yep.
Nobody picked the Blues when they won in 2000.
No,
they came out of nowhere. In hockey, it's kind of like baseball. You get good pitching, you got a chance. Yep. You get good goaltending, you steal games all the time. You steal them.
Yep.
A team dominates you and your goalie stones them. They can't get the puck in the net. You get lucky, get one in there, and you beat them. And that's what happens. And that's why it is so hard to win the Stanley Cup.
And that's why you're scared as a Blues fan, because you had that hot goalie the year we won it. And you just don't have it right now. And that is why I'm leaning towards the Flames. I trust Jacob Markstrom. I think he's solid.
Well,
I don't think he's going to give up those cheap goals.
They've given up the fewest goals, I think. If not, they're top 3.
And it's because he's a good goaltender, and they play a style that it's tough to score on him.
Yep.
So I think they can do it, and I think they're in the right side of it as well to get to the West Finals. So,
okay,
I'm gonna take my swing. I did not want to pick Colorado, so I'm gonna take my swing with Calgary.
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll quickly go.
It's going to be a ball.
We'll quickly go to the NBA. We got a game going on.
Yeah, we only got a few teams left in the NBA. We got 8 left.
I'm pulling it up now. We'll quickly go. to the NBA. The Bucks beat the Celtics, and right now the Grizzlies are leading 54-53 over the Warriors with a minute to go in the second quarter. So the Bucks win game one. What do you think? Can they win this series after this win in game one?
Well, that was a huge win. Obviously, they did it without Chris Middleton, one of their best players. So he daggone right they can win it. They went in there and stole it. The thing that I picked Boston to win this series because of the injury to Middleton. I thought that would make some difference. And it's only one game. So we got a long way to go. They dominated him.
Yeah.
They took it to him. And I've underestimated the Bucks a little bit. This is the defending champion. So you're going to have to beat them. The thing about Boston that we're kind of overlooking a little, yeah, they swept Brooklyn 4-0. Brooklyn is dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
They barely beat them all 4 games. They were all close. They could have lost all 4 of them. So maybe they're not as good as we think. But it's just one game. And, yeah, I thought Boston would win today. They didn't. Right now, the Bucks have turned the home court advantage to them. So, pivotal game 2 coming up for the Celtics.
No doubt. That's huge. And what about this Warriors-Grizzlies series? You've been a bigger fan of the Grizzlies than well, I mean, there are people that like the Grizzlies, obviously, but you've been a big fan of them all year. Looks like they're going to go into the half with a lead. Who do you think comes out of this Warriors-Grizzlies series?
Well, this figures. I jumped off the bandwagon and joined in on the Warriors. Long way to go.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Again, sometimes you just got to throw logic out the window. Wasn't it logical to think that they had to extend themselves to the limit on Friday night in Minnesota on the road, travel, get back home, and boom, have to play a game on Sunday? I really think the NBA really did them a favor. That's ridiculous to make them to play this first game, on one day's rest. I thought they might get tired, and they may down the stretch. They may get tired. The other factor here, I guess, that we have to look at is the pressure off them now that they first, and now they're underdogs, and they play better when they're not favored, and Golden State's the favored team, and because I watched the Grizzlies quite a bit in the regular season, and I just didn't see the Grizzlies in that Minnesota series at all. That was not the team that I watched all year. I mean, they struggled. And I wasn't that high on Minnesota, and Minnesota played great. But I thought they would really kill them. So maybe they needed that first-round game. Now they can relax, play like they're capable because the Warriors are going to be favored. And evidently, I haven't got to see any of this, but evidently they're playing extremely well in this game. But there's a long way to go.
Yeah, long way to go. Long way to go in the series. I still think Golden State will get the job done in that one.
I thought they would steal this one today. And I didn't really call it a steal, but I thought they'd win this. And it's a long way to go with this game.
Yeah. The other games, the other series, I should say, we'll start off on Monday, which is tomorrow, with the 76ers and the Heat. The Heat is 7.5-point favorite. I really like most people are going to like Miami in this series, and I'm right there with them.
Well, the injury to Embiid,
it's bad.
Critical.
Yeah.
And he's going to miss at least the first 2 games.
Yep.
As of the concussion protocol. He has to sit out a certain number of games. He's got a broken bone in his face. That's got to be extremely painful, I would think. Plus, he has an injured thumb. Plus, he's the best damn player in the league, just about. And it affects him offensively, but it affects him more on defense. I mean, he's a monster in the middle there. The Heat's physical. I don't know about that 7.5. I think the Sixers are going to play a tremendous game in this first one. And the Heat better be ready because you know how it is. You lose that star player on the other team, psychologically, you're not quite as ready.
Yeah.
So look for a little bit of a surprise in this one. I think the Heat wins the series. I think they're better, and I've liked them all year too.
Yep, I think the Heat are going to be awfully tough. And I know the Heat and Memphis are kind of the two teams you've really liked all year. So it's good to see that they're still there. And like I say, Memphis is playing well. All right, let's go to the last one here. Mavericks and the Suns. The Suns were not good in the first round until the last game of the series. The Mavericks, gosh, you look at that, they kind of could have swept the Jazz. They had them, maybe beat them in 5.
Yeah.
I don't know this. Like before this series or before the playoffs started, I would think the Suns are the easy winner here. I think this could get interesting.
This is going to get very interesting. They're my sleeper team, Dallas. They played the first 3 games against the Jazz without Luka
Yeah.
and won 2 of them. One of them in Utah. I'm telling you, they are tough. We've associated Dallas with being a run and gun when Nowitzki was there. 3-point shooting team, not very physical, try to outscore you. Not this bunch. They held Utah to 100 or below in 4 of those 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that in the NBA much anymore. I'm really skeptical of the Suns, the way they played against New Orleans. Is New Orleans that good? Maybe they are. I don't know, but team is 36-46, and you got to play your ass off to win 4 out of 6. I'm really leery of them. That point spread 5.5. I don't think I think 2 of the wins against New Orleans was less than 5.5. So haven't analyzed this one yet. I'll do it in the morning. I'm leaning towards the Mavericks to beat that spread. I don't know if I have the guts to pick them, but that'll be in my parlay. Dallas plus 5.5. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they cover it. Can they win outright? Not sure, but I do think they're going to cover that spread for sure. Yeah, that's an interesting series. We'll see what happens in that one. I don't.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm going to take that one game by game. I would not bet the Suns to win the series outright right now.
No, I sat down, tried. I said, this is dumb. Why do I do this? Because you got to go game by game on these. Because here's the thing, too, that you can't, when you do that kind of stuff, somebody can get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know what's going to happen. And it's fun to kind of say who's going to do this and who's going to do that, but you do have to take it game by game.
Yeah.
But these are going to be fun. The NBA has been fantastic so far.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. All right. So that's our show today as far as what we've got lined up. As far as what's coming. So this will be it for the week. We'll be right back here on Monday. So a week from tomorrow, we'll be back. We'll recap what's been going on, kind of preview NBA, NHL playoff talk, and we'll obviously recap Kentucky Derby, have a lot of talk about that. But if you like live shows of Racing Dudes, well, I got good news for you. You're going to get your gut full of them. Monday, which is tomorrow, will be live for the Kentucky Derby draw. The draw is at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern time. We will be live tomorrow. We'll be live at 1 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday and probably 1 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Thursday, probably going to be live early in the morning and then be live for Blinkers Off at night and then also Magic Mike Show in the afternoon. Friday, we'll have reaction shows to the Kentucky Oaks. And then Saturday, we'll have a live show for the Kentucky Derby and a reaction show after the Kentucky Derby. So there is a lot of on-air coverage that we're going to have, along with just regular videos that we always put out, previewing the big races. So a lot going on. Like I said, Derby draw tomorrow.
So what time is that, Aaron?
2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow.
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
They will draw the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby. Right when that is drawn and when we get the fields, we will start with the wagering guide. Wagering guide hopefully will come out Wednesday afternoonish is how I would phrase it at the moment. Just depends on, we get any late news where we have to update it. But Wednesday afternoonish probably will be available. Yes. They used to draw the Derby on Wednesday, and that was awful.
Thinking. Yeah.
That was awful
on handicappers, that's for sure.
Awful on us because we would get the fields on late Wednesday night,
Right.
and customers are already on Wednesday before they even draw asking where the stuff is for the Derby. And it's like, we don't even know who's in it yet. So yes, change to Monday. Thank God. It makes it so much better.
When will the odds come out then later that evening?
The odds for the Derby and the Oaks will be announced at the draw. So for those two races, you will know the odds.
Really?
The odds for the other races usually come out Wednesday, I think, Wednesday morning. So,
and we got to have the guide done by then.
The guide will be out Wednesday afternoon, most likely. The only reason it wouldn't be out is because something like we all picked a certain horse and he scratched. And then, obviously you have to redo everything. So if everything goes to plan, Wednesday afternoon, the guide will be out.
So us dummies like me that are in the guide, I'm going to have to pick without any odds.
No, the odds will probably be out. No, let's see. They draw on Monday. I bet the odds will be out Tuesday, actually. Okay. Yeah. Odds will be out Tuesday.
Anyway.
Yeah, and you will have that. So that's what's going on. We got a lot happening over the next week. Like I said, starting tomorrow, I think you could tell from the last 2-3 weeks we're highly anticipating what's going to happen in this draw. So that's the big news, the big thing tomorrow. As far as Kentucky Derby news, Epicenter put in his last work today, and it was solid according to people that were there. So all systems are go for everybody. Early voting is not going to run. Everybody else, they're on track. So, got anything before we go off the air here, Papa Dude?
Yeah, for all 6 or 7 of my fans that are going to miss me this week, everything will be posted on Racing Dudes. What do you say that? Racing Dudes /sports?
Yeah, Race Dudes. So, yeah, that's the deal. Just because we're not having a show this week does not mean sports coverage ends. Game-by-game analysis and picks for every game will be at racingdudes.com/sports. So we'll have you fully covered there on the website. Just no shows this week.
You bet. And also, I'm hot on the parlays right now.
Yes.
6 out of 9. Not 6 out of 9, but I've hit parlays 6 nights out of 9. I do one on hockey and I do one on the NBA. I don't want to brag because I might go 9 straight days and not hit either one of them, but they're so hard.
Hopefully you stay hot. I'll go to Vegas at the end of May, and hopefully you can give me some parlays to bet while I'm there.
Well, I've been hitting them decent, but you know how that goes. It's like everything else. You get on a roll, and you can't hit. You just everything you pick goes out awry, or you get two. Usually I do a 3-team parlay. I'll get 2 of them. And miss the third one. But Cindy, on the NFL draft, I haven't really analyzed it much. I'm shocked that there's no news on Baker Mayfield. Aaron, are you?
Yeah. I thought he would get traded. Deebo Samuel, still no news on him either.
I guess maybe there's a lot of moving that goes on once camp starts, and that's not too far away. So I guess maybe we shouldn't read a lot into this, but I thought there would be some sort of a deal made, and there wasn't for any of those guys, right?
No.
None of those guys. So nothing took place. We'll just have to see down the line. There's no way Baker Mayfield's going to be in Cleveland, and even if he that's true, Brace. And parlays are like pick 4s and pick 5s. It's absolutely right, because you got to throw some sort of an upset in there to get any kind of value.
Yep.
So he hit the nail on the head on that.
Yep.
As far as Mayfield, I read somewhere where he's owed $19 million. I just shut my mouth and take my $19 million.
See, that's the thing that I've said from the start. Just shut up. Just let them do whatever they want to do. Exactly. And if they're going to be dumb enough to not trade you, take the money.
You're in great shape either way.
Yeah.
$19 million to sit on your butt. There's a lot of guys that would take that.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no telling what Watson's going to do. He may end up in prison.
Yeah.
And have you ever thought maybe Cleveland's thinking that too? I don't know.
I think there's some of that. Cleveland's like, well, it's not prison, but will he get suspended, and do we need a quarterback when he does?
Suspended, that's true.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I want him out of there because I don't want to watch him anymore. So,
yeah.
Just a little bit. I think Arizona came out of that draft pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, how shocked were you that Marquise Brown was traded from Baltimore to, anywhere?
Yeah.
I know he does drop some passes, but my God, what a threat.
Yeah.
He was reunited with Murray. I didn't realize they were best friends in college.
Mm-hmm.
They're thrilled. Arizona might have done that to keep Kyler happy.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, but that was quite a deal. Cindy was surprised at how far the quarterbacks dropped. There just weren't any. And I thought it was freaking hilarious. Not because I don't like Malik Willis. He dropped all the way to the third round, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Here, all these experts had him going to Pittsburgh at number 20.
Mm-hmm.
I think is funnier than hell that he dropped all the way.
Well, we were both like, we've watched him. Like, that's not
I don't know where these guys get these crazy ideas.
No.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't really follow this much. I'm not a draft geek. I followed it online, to be honest. I can't watch that. I just can't.
Yeah, it's boring.
It's boring. I don't like those guys talking about those people. They say the same shit about every player. Oh, he runs a 4.3 40 and he made it, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit? I get tired of that. So I can't watch it. I'm not a draft geek. I think Desmond Ridder went to the Falcons. Is that right? I think he did. He's the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bearcats. I think they got a hell of a football player. I think I'm going to make a prediction right now. He's going to be a stud. He's going to be a star in the NFL. He knows how to play. He does it the right way. He's not flashy. He's just going to make plays. The key's going to be, are they going to have anything around him? That's the thing.
Yep.
Because a lot of times you're only as good as the players around you. And we got to understand. Matt Stafford is a very, very good example.
Yeah.
Of that.
Yeah. Cindy says, hey, the draft is for betting. Hubby killed it again. He got 100-1 on Stingley to Houston. There you go.
Well, good. That's great. I could do it a million times and not get any of them. So it would have got Malik Willis not going to the Pittsburgh Steelers if that was a bet. I doubt if it was.
I doubt so. I think you could have picked him not going in the first round and could have made money, though.
Okay.
So.
And then I could have made money on Kenny Pickett going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because I picked that.
Yeah.
That's my claim to fame.
Yep. So. There you go. I don't know what the odds, but you probably that was probably a prop bet for sure. So.
And you were dead on Breece Hall being the first running back selected.
It just made sense to me.
Well, he went pretty high. He was like a second pick in the second round. That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So.
All right. That's it. We got to get off here.
You got stuff to do.
We got Derby stuff to get back to work on. So I think we've covered it all. Guys, have a great rest of your Sunday. And like I said, we'll see you so many times. You'll be sick of us by this time next week. So, just keep on keeping on. Hope everybody has a good rest of the day. And like I said, we'll see you right back here. Probably most of you, if you're into horse racing, we'll see you right back here tomorrow for the draw. All right. See you guys.
Thanks a lot, guys.
This has been a presentation of RacingDudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels. Never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,